Okay, in the next couple videos, we'll talk about how to bring different types of artwork into Flash, as well as how to export applications or files out of Flash and into other applications. So in this week, we'll talk about bringing things like Adobe Illustrator, like we're looking at right now, into Flash properly, and then how to bring Photoshop files into Flash, different techniques for bringing Photoshop files into Flash, as well as how to use video editing applications with Flash, how to use a video with a transparent background over top of inside of Flash, as well as how to export things out of Flash and into a video editing application. So we're going to talk about doing those kind of things here right now. The first thing is I'm going to be making a music website for the music department at West Valley. And it's basically I've recorded a variety of songs for a class. They have a basic piano class called 30A and then 30B. And one of the problems with the class is basically all you have a book and you can't really hear what the songs sound like. You just see the notes in the book. So I figured, well, why don't we record the different songs, and so a student can go and listen to each of the songs that are required for the homework. So we're basically going to make a music site. To make that music site, though, I want to have some nice graphics, and so what I've done is I've found some vector graphics, and I've imported them and altered them inside of Illustrator, and then what we'll do is we'll bring them into Flash to animate them and add them to our interface. These graphics that you see here actually came from a website, and let's open that website up so we could see it. That website was called iHeart, Heart, Vector. I guess it stands for I Love Vector. And so in this website, there's a variety of vector graphics that you can download. Some of them are free, some are paid for. But these are all in vector. You can open them up in Illustrator or import them directly into Flash. But of course, what I would probably do is bring them into Illustrator and manipulate them and change them a little bit before I import them into Flash. So let's just first look at this is the one that you're looking at inside of Illustrator right now. It's a cityscape vector that I've downloaded, and I'm only using the top part of these graphics. So this would be a great place for you to download some graphics that you could get started with. Again, I've manipulated them. One of the things you should consider doing inside of Illustrator before you bring your files into Flash would be size. In this case, you could think about whatever size that you want inside of Flash and then kind of dial that in as the artboard for Flash. As you can see right now, I have a black line inside of Illustrator. I'm going to make the site that's going to be 640 by 480 pixels. You can get to these default settings inside of Flash by going under File, New. And inside of Flash, you'll notice that there is a variety of different things. One of them is the new document profile, which actually has some presets set for you. If we click and pull the triangle down, if we go under and look under Web here, you'll see there's a 800 by 600, 640 by 480, and 1024 by 768. So these are the common, of course, web sizes. And of course, you don't see the default Flash 500 by 400, but that's kind of small, really. So I'm going to make mine 640 by 480 pixels. Another reason why you might want to use 640 by 480 is that it's the actual size for video also. So we'll learn a little bit about that later today. But in this case, after you've chosen the proper, or you can dial in any size you want to. I didn't really talk about that, but you can actually type in any size you want for dimension-wise. The next thing to consider before you bring your files in from Illustrator into Flash would be to how will you import the artwork. In this case, what I want is I want to have different movie clips for some of my files so that I can alter them so that they'll I can animate them and do different things. So if you're going to bring things in from Illustrator into Flash, what you can do is you can take the pieces that you want to be different movie clips and put them on separate layers inside of Illustrator. So to make a new layer, you just click on there's a little pull down menu in the layers window, or next to the trash can, there's another new layer option right here. And if you just make a new layer and draw your artwork or import your artwork or drag it around or whatever, get it into this layer. And in addition, you'll notice I name the layer logo, city, right swish, left swish. And let me trash that blank one I just made. So if you look, you can see there's a right swish. There's a big city option here. There's a middle swish. And so I have taken the different pieces that I want to be on separate movie clips inside of Flash, and I put them together inside of Illustrator here on separate layers. So keep that in mind before you import your files from Illustrator into Flash. Separate all the different pieces. There's also another way that I'm not going to really demonstrate right now, but what you could do is instead of bringing each piece in that you see right here into a separate layer, there's an animation way of bringing things from Illustrator into Flash, and that is if you take each artwork that is in a separate stance for an animation and put that on a separate layer inside of Illustrator, you can actually have it go down the timeline. Instead of putting it into different movie clips and putting it in different layers, you can actually take each one of these layers inside of Illustrator and make it into a separate frame. So think about how each layer could be a separate frame, and you can do animation that way. And maybe we'll have an example of that a little bit later. But for right now, you can see that I've taken in, you'll notice there's a variety of different pieces of artwork in each layer. Okay. So you'll notice if I turn them down, you'll see there's even subgroups. You see there's a whole bunch of, especially in the circle one, there's a lot of different circles in there, as you can see. So, you know, it's a good way of going about it. A better way might be to actually draw some of this stuff inside of Flash, because think about it. In the stars one, you'll see there's a whole bunch of separate stars. Look at them all. You know what I mean? If we would have done this inside of Flash, we could have actually made one and made it into a symbol and then duplicated it around, and it would have saved a lot of memory. But I'm trying to do this kind of quick, so I'm just going to, download the artwork that I had off of the iHeart and manipulate it, and then we'll bring it in. So I'm going to save this. To save this, you're just going to save it as a plain Illustrator file. So I'm going to save this as an Illustrator CS4 file. So if we look at the Save As window, we're just using the Illustrator CS4 file, and that comes into Flash just fine. The other thing to keep in mind is that you could use the Illustrator CS3 as well, I believe, also as the CS2 to bring into Flash. So let's quit this and we'll go into Flash.